and evening to all of you watching the stream or even later on in YouTube. Welcome to the second round of the war.ID ELO TTS Showdown tournament. We've had a fun-filled first round of the tournament. We got some very interesting games, and now we're down to round two. So before we move on to the second round of the draw, let's go through some of the more interesting games that we see, and of course, we're going to see what will be then the games coming up. So, Brett, any notable games that you would like to talk about, or would you like to just talk about your games first?
We can touch on my game if you want. I know we had some pretty cool matches in the mirror match with Chris and Tom Tyler was streamed, and that was a pretty interesting one. I didn't get to see as many as I would have liked to see, but I'm going to the event right now and pulling it up so I can see some of the matches and
So
see
before,
what I want
so
to.
before before people comment on like Brett getting destroyed 10-4 by Blood Raven, again, I just like to say that this game was much closer than what you think they are. If you watch the stream, um, Blood Raven's Warrior Son was on 2 HP by the end of round two. So it was far closer than what it appears to be. So if you did if we stream the game, if you want to watch it, it's on YouTube wargames.id. It was also on Twitch as well. So just so that Brett doesn't get any doesn't get off of a bad morning. Did you have pancakes today, Brett?
I did not have pancakes
Oh
today, but I will not.
no!
I'm not going to make the mistake in round two of skipping the pancakes because if I would have fed my brain, I think I could have pulled the win off, and I think the score might have even been flipped. I potentially could have tabled him. Those Warrior Sons were alive with 1 HP. They were Tywin, so they were blanked, and he failed a panic test and didn't roll enough to die. But I had forgot to place Joffrey when I put him on the tactics board, and that was the target to put Joffrey on because I knew that was the unit I was going to blank, so they would have died there. And from that point, I own my left flank, and uh, I've just got to get through those warrior sons in the center. The poor fellows did die, and then I've got a free shot to Tywin, but that's neither here nor there. That's my mistake, and I'm going to have to live with that. But it was a very good game. I was really hoping to make a strong case for Tywin NCU and hoping to use that game to do a write up for the Lannister guys just to kind of show that the old 4-3 Lannister can work. And I still think overall Tywin NCU is a good choice to have in a list pairing, even if it means 7 activations. I'm going to kind of be on my pulpit here for a second, but when I think about some of the troublesome things in the meta that get your units kind of stuck, Tywin's just like a perfect solution for them. Obviously, Warrior Sons with Champion of the Faith, once their abilities are shut off, they lose their pseudo hardened. They're not too terribly hard to take down. The other thing I could have done was charge them with the Flayed Men when I had the chance, and I have no doubt that they would have been wiped. Um, you've got Trappers with Asha and Carl. They're a bit of a
That's a
tar
nasty
pit.
unit.
If you
Yeah.
Tywin them, they should be down in one hit. If you send something like Flayed Men or your Red Cloaks with Gregor, like what I'm running, they should wipe that unit right off the table. Free Folk Raiders with Tormund in the Mance bubble should be pretty easy to take out as well. Um, let's see what other on the Stark side. I know Starks aren't super popular, but they're the army that has hardened on demand. So you
Yeah,
can
with the Norman
Tywin, and
veteran.
you should be able to wipe those berserkers in a hit with Tywin. Just basically everything that the meta is hinging on right now. You've got mostly 8 activations. You've got some kind of crummy units stats wise, but they're able to hang in there by taking advantage of charging you, and I think Tywin's a very good equalizer there, and he's able to kind of let you take those units out. But we can move on from that.
Yep.
Scrolling through the matches here.
So what's up,
Um,
Bob and Wape? I think is joining the stream. Welcome, welcome. How's your morning? So just going through here, not a lot of good performances for my boys back home. We got Jeffrey losing to Matsara. He's very good player. We got Kai losing to Noctalp. Unfortunately, Kai didn't practice too much with neutral. We haven't been playing Sif too much here. Also, quite offline. Uh, what else is interesting here? Oh, a very interesting matchup that I have to highlight here because it was played over the weekend. A Reaper Man against Rossi. Reaper Man won the Stark Mirror with his Roderick Cassell list.
Oh,
So
nice.
so I didn't watch. I was down with fever, as I was telling you on Sunday, so I couldn't stream this even if I wanted to. But what happened was that Rossi simply could not beat the what's that guy's name? The one with the evasion.
Oh,
Yeah, Serial
the
4L yeah, Mummer
Serial
skirmisher with Serial
Serial
4L.
skirmisher.
Yes,
Yes.
he simply
Yeah.
could not get rid of this.
If you don't have ranged, that unit's going to give you tons of trouble. Ironically, I diss Price of Failure when it's played in a Lannister list because typically I think the best target for it for the most part is Poor Fellows because they've got the self healing and the sustain. More often than not, in a Gregor list, you've got more expensive units, and you don't really want them taking those wounds. But I have dealt with that unit practicing around with Gregor, and it was 1,000% worth it to throw Price of Failure on Flademan, fish for those sixes, and wipe that unit out in one hit. That's one of those instances where a card goes from being pretty good, and against that unit it becomes phenomenal because you can get all of those hits through. And if you don't take them out in one hit, you definitely set them up for the fall from like a crown zap or something like that. Now, if they've got Tycho, that can bring about some other problems, but just in general, I think Price of Failure is a very good counter to that unit. Or ranged attacks that do hit on a 3+, and you can get a lot of shots. I think the Greyjoy bowmen would struggle because they'd be hitting on 5s with Agile. Stormcrow archers, if they didn't own the swords, they would struggle a bit because they're hitting on 5s. It's a tough unit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really
I
surprised that
guess,
they pulled
well,
through. But yeah, he simply
from the
Rossi,
Lannister side,
yeah, Rossi simply couldn't get rid of that
go
unit.
ahead.
So I think like what happened was, he was asking whether if you charge a unit you have to attack, and I looked at the rule and says yes you have to attack, and he's like, can I attack with my lowest dice? And I says no. So I think he was frustrated. So I think what happened was that he just conceded. He can't get rid of it. Man. But yeah, this
Yeah.
is interesting list with Howland. Just stacking -3 modifier on top of whatever you have is kind of nuts. Dakota won against Night's Watch. That is interesting.
That is, I was listening a little bit to the stream, but I've got this little active chat with Bob, Chris, Dakota, and Carl. They're I call them the Ohio guys, the Gamers Haven guys.
Hmm.
We sit and chat a lot, and that chat was absolutely pumped when Dakota pulled that win off.
Nice.
Definitely, definitely score one for the home team. That's not an easy match to win, even if it's not the optimized auto build. It's still tough, and from what I understand, Dakota did a couple of patient kind of big brain plays and was able to pull that win off.
He has some interesting lists as well. He was using the Howland list, I believe, and that had two Chronocron trackers. That is also very interesting.
Hmm.
So I'm guessing he plays sort of like
Yeah,
the very patient game and just steadily creep and then you know punch retreat blah blah blah. So I think it was an interesting match though. Wish I would have streamed it, but I'm guessing he did pull like some very 500 IQ play when he wins that.
yeah. My understanding is that he did the absolute smartest thing that you can do against Night's Watch, which is to go make your way to the conscripts
Yep.
and try to make them target number one. My understanding of the commentary and what I was listening to, he targeted the conscripts really before even attempting to kill any of the elite units, and that's kind of what you have to do if you charge headfirst into the expos or the ranger hunters or even the sworn brothers. You're really just doing the Night's Watch a favor because from there the conscripts will just keep them going, and you've gotten yourself tar pitted, and that's what they really want. If you circle around and get to those conscripts, though, then it starts to present itself as a problem because the conscripts die pretty quickly. they're effectively raiders on the defensive side. So
Yep. So just moving along, another Night Watch loss with our boy Claw here, getting that elusive 1 point destroyed from killing the commander.
yep.
Yeah, he again the same as with a lot of guys here. I think a lot of people here didn't get yet too much practice. Again, because Claw also just had a baby, he can't really go out of the house, so fair enough. He can't really get too
Yep.
much
And it's
practice.
it's his list. John is second lowest elo.
Yeah, his list is interesting. I almost didn't want to give him any crap for playing this type of list, but yeah. What he was
Yeah,
commentating in the group chat was that he got greedy with his Taiko. So there was an opportunity where he could have popped his Taiko to save like a couple of wounds, but he chose not to, and then that unit just get like I think 8 9 wounds. So
yeah.
and because he
It's
was already at a good spot, he killed with his I think Vargo attachment. Yeah, he had a Vargo in one. Yeah, with his Vargo he killed Asha, and then he was already feeling pretty good, but then he didn't pop the Psycho, and then it went downhill from that.
yeah. And I think Night's Watch is still the big bad as far as the meta goes. People hate Night's Watch. They kind of start grinding their teeth when they see Night's Watch. But to be honest, I'll play a little bit of the devil's advocate. But when you're not running those super NPE type lists, Night's Watch is pretty manageable, and they're kind of difficult to score some wins with. Obviously, we've seen in these elo events, people have tried Alisar, and it's like he's rated low for a reason. It's not just a gimme win. It's not just a push forward and win. When you're not running that Othel Expo build or the John with double Ranger Hunters getting free charges and stuff, they are pretty squishy. I know you have the conscripts as a lifeline, but they're still squishy. The Ranger Hunters are at a 5+ defense and a 5+ morale, which with some of the morale shenanigans, you can bring a 5+ to an 8+ pretty easily. With Warcry everywhere, you can start to put a dent in that. They definitely die faster than people think, and I
Mm-hmm.
think yeah, I think people just have this idea that Night's Watch is just super NPE and unbeatable. But once you get past that 9 activation, double watch captain stuff, they're definitely beatable.
So one last game I want to talk about is the sort of like the big ticket game here between Chris Tran versus Tom Tyler. Unfortunately, I didn't watch it because it was at 3 a.m. in the morning. So, any comments from you, Brett, on this particular game?
I had the stream going while I was at work, so I watched as much as I could. From what I could tell, Tom ran a more elite approach. He had Iron Makers with his commander, and then he had Iron Makers with Asha and Carl. But Chris has played this list over and over and over again. He pretty well knows how to pilot it. He knows the strengths and weaknesses of his own list. And from what I saw, the Iron Makers with Asha and Carl got kind of stuck into the trappers with Asha.
Ah,
And I think Chris was essentially able to just outscore him at that point. It's not that
trappers.
Chris, like,
Freaking
yeah,
trappers.
I don't think Chris tabled him, or it wasn't anything crazy like that. Like,
Nah,
Chris
the points
didn't,
destroyed
like,
was quite even. I think yeah. No, I think you're right. From the matchup, the trappers. Never underestimate the trappers, man. With trappers with Asha, you just can't get rid of it. It's really hard to get rid of.
yeah, it looks like Chris destroyed 12, Tom destroyed 10, but I think of those 10 points, 6 of them were the trappers with Asha and Carl, and then he must have just gotten a unit of bowmen, which I think Chris had bowmen guarding an objective, and he probably killed that unit with arrows. Um, but yeah, I mean that's just how it can happen. You get stuck into those trappers, and then Chris kind of gets to do what he wants. I think Chris's list was 9 activations with Relentless, or
Yep.
8. I know his Euron list is
One, two, three, four,
I think
five,
that's the one that
six.
has
Yeah, that's a
9.
9 activation. And Tom's
Yeah,
was I think 8.
yeah, yeah, but Chris has the leverage at that point when he's got 9 activations to start using those bowmen, and the reavers and things like this do not like being shot. Even if it's just a little bit of splash damage, you can start to make them fail those panic tests. When I had a glance, I saw that several of Tom's units were down a rank, and this is from, those shots from the bowman being able to wait, bide his time, potentially flip an NCU and leave a board zone open for a we do not sow. It gets pretty nasty. Greyjoys kind of do free folk better than free folk, to be honest.
Yep. Well, yes. Well.
So we had nothing but losses across the board for Night's Watch, didn't we? Because I know
Yeah.
Carl lost as well.
Except Jordan, Spleen, just because his opponent resigned, J-War, so
Okay,
he got the win by default. And
fair enough.
unfortunately for me as well, my opponent did not continue. Abort. He had some issues to take care of personally. So yeah, but other than that, Nightwatch didn't really have a good first round here. Most Lannister, well, mostly because of the mirror as well, got pretty good. I mean, if we're just looking at the standings right here, um, we got Lannister, three Lannister in the top three, and then another Lannister on like the next one. So one, two, three, four Lannisters in the top six, and then we got
Yeah.
Stark, Baratheon, etc. So we'll see. But first, let's check on this wheel of names to see like what the next scenario is. So
Okay.
let's click the spin. Oh boy, it's Clash of Kings.
Oh boy.
All right, Clash of Kings do favor aggressive commanders or commanders that have a very good surviving power, or commanders that just wants to suicide into an objective and then they get 1 point plus another one and then they respawn on a better objectives.
Yep.
Really interesting, but
This is
yes. All right.
this is Ormond and Spearwives kind of scenario
Oh
here.
yeah.
I've faced that, and I was actually using Blood Riders at the time, and those Spearwives came back, ended up behind the Blood Riders, and the game very quickly went from like I think it was like 9-4, and then I think it ended like 12-10 or something because those guys came back on, destroyed Drogo, that's 3 points, destroyed Drogo with Tormund, that's 4 points. Uh, just a PSA to keep in mind: if you get rid of those Tormund Spearwives, they can pop up behind you
I think
and
last time I
do
played
lots of nasty stuff.
last time I played Clash of Kings locally here, Kai was using what's that guy's name? Theon in Basset Girls. I killed him off, and then he went to the
Yeah.
other objective, and then just killed there, and then gets the point. It really is. I really like the scenario simply because it's a bit like Fire and Blood, except it's less focused on killing and more like just positional and gaining objectives still. All right, so I'm gonna roll now for
Okay.
the pairings. All right. And we got I'm up against Sir Jacob of Glace. So
Okay.
he would like a revenge against me from beating him last time. So a Lannister mirror. I'm gonna be up against a Lannister mirror to the surprise of no one. He's also bringing Tywin and Jaime. Huh, interesting. So he's choosing not to bring the warrior son spam. He's just gonna bring Stormcrow archers with Brawn. All right, all right, all right. Interesting. Okay. Huh. I'm not gonna enjoy this game. We'll see. Oh man, red cloaks with
I think,
Jaime, poor fellows with champions of fate. We shall see.
yeah, I think Jamie has some play into the mirror, because a lot of times you're hinging on that failed panic to get you those 3 or 4 wounds, and it can be problematic because he has that auto pass card, and you don't really want to waste a counterplot on that, but sometimes you kind of have to. And if you don't have a counterplot, it's not just them passing the panic test, but a lot of times you're hinging on that fealty to the crown, and that card both denies the wounds that you would have caused, and then it denies the wounds you would have healed. So
Yep, I think this
I've played
is
against Jamie in the mirror, and it can be pretty good actually.
Yep, and I think this is what me and Bloodraven sort of has decided as well, because he also brought a Jamie because I think he was also prepared to have it have mirrors across the board. So he did also bring Jamie. You're right. Jamie is really good in a mirror simply because like his card simply says "fuck you" to Lannisters.
Yes, it does.
Like
It really
the first
does.
one is auto succeed. The second one is reroll. Okay, the reroll part is not that important, but the third one is panic, suffer panic test. And you don't want to
Yes,
be rolling panic test if you're against a Lannister because you have
correct.
Joffrey and you
Yep.
have
It's
yep. All right,
yep.
I will be cautiously waiting for this game to happen. Meanwhile, let's see who you are paired up against.
I am playing Baratheons. I already had a glance based on the ratings, so or
Oh,
based on
oh no, we see. You know what's funny? Uh, Marsara messaged me this morning going like, "Can we not have? Can we also still do like a Void Club pairings for round two?" And I'm like, "No." I said nothing. I said nothing because I know exactly what his intention was.
yeah, because he's playing Bloodraven.
He's playing Blood Raven. Hey, on the plus side, you're gonna have a good time zone up against that. So hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna see.
Yep.
Oh, ooh, man, my boy Fearman is up against Chris Tran. Oh man, Stark versus Greyjoy. With let's see if we can pull up the miracle again.
That one could be interesting. I think Starks actually have some play into Greyjoys. They've got the ability to weather some of their attacks, and then they're able to kind of bring them down. It could be interesting. Let me have a look at these lists here. Dervishes with Rob. That could potentially give Greyjoys fits. That's a lot of healing and a lot of bouncing all over the place. The Stark Bowmen are going to be problematic. I actually really like Bowman with Rickon and Osha. It takes them to effectively a morale 6. Then you get counter strikes and stubborn tenacity as a little bit of a deterrent for going into them. Uh, Greywind and Shaggy Dogs, Sworn Shields with Mormont Vet, and then of course Eddard NCU, Catelyn Tycho. I really like the list. Um, and then you've got Bowman with Roderick, again probably problematic for Greyjoys unless they can outrange them and bring them down. Uh, Boldness and Courage is going to give them 8 shots, which is a lot in this version. 8 shots on 3+ for a ranged attack. The Mummers with Sirio, She Bears with a Mormont Vet, Mercs with Rickon and Asha, Howland, Eddard, Tycho. Yeah, Eddard in both lists. Uh, yeah, Eddard is a
That was really
nuisance,
good.
but you've got to love him. Yeah, it could be interesting.
It could be
Could be
interesting.
interesting.
It could be really interesting. I like my gut feeling is he's gonna bring like the Rop list simply because it's a unit that you don't mind sort of throwing away.
Yeah, I would think so too. And that list is 8 activations.
Well, I
Um,
mean 9 activation, but yeah, I get you.
well, his Rob list is 8, and the Roderick list is only 7.
We shall see. This is going to be interesting. Comment from One Ring says, "So Discord will be great." Yeah, that is also something that needs to be careful of because if Chris brings his Euron list, then the Dervish can be just blanked, and once that unit is
Yeah,
blanked, it will be quite troublesome when they get stuck.
yeah, and I think he'll probably be aware of that. You can kind of avoid that commander, which is probably not a terrible idea anyway, and you can go start taking care of the rest of the army and kind of force Chris to push those blackguard into a spot, and they're slow. And this entire list is pretty fast, minus the bowmen who are fairly static. You're assuming that the sworn shields are an objective keeper, but stubborn tenacity is really good, and he's got the bowman able to force that stubborn tenacity test with the sworn shield, so it can be a pretty big deal.
All right, what other matches are interesting in this round? Um, so we got Lannister versus Stark. We got Baratheon versus Lannister. Greyjoy Stark. Lannister Mirror. Lannister versus Stark. So Wape will be up against Dakota. That will also
Yep,
be interesting.
that'll be that will be interesting. Classic Stark and Lannister match.
Mm-hmm. So that will also be interesting. Mikhail is going to be up against Duan Ring, so Greyjoy versus Greyjoy Mirror. Will be interesting. And then we have Greyjoy versus Stark. Oh no, Bob's not gonna enjoy this. Oh no,
Yeah,
Bob's gonna be
yeah,
up against. Oh no, Bob's gonna be up against Spleen
yep.
in his Night Watch list.
Well,
Well,
Bob does have Mag the Mighty, so that could be
so
an
on the
interesting.
plus side, the double stone thrower list is not gonna be brought out, right?
Right. Yeah, Bob is definitely.
Oh
I would
no,
venture to guess
Bob!
Bob.
Oh no,
Bob's
Bob is
gonna.
spamming Max Smash in the chat.
Bob's saying what?
Max Smash.
Well,
Yeah.
that's an interesting one. I think the double stone thrower list is basically off the table because if Bob runs his giant
Yeah,
list, then
yeah, pretty
that
much.
kind of gives Bob the advantage, really, because he's got two aggressive commanders. He's got Mag the Mighty
And
as his
Bob.
commander in
And Bob.
one
Sorry,
list, and then he's
I
got
was about to
the
say Tormund, but I got for some reason it says Bob. Yeah, no, Mag is really good in Clash of Kings. Holy shit! Oh,
yeah,
oh
yeah,
no!
Mag,
Oh god! I just realized Mag the Mighty in Clash of
yeah.
Kings. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, because well, number one, he's counting his six ranks for holding an objective. Then number
Oh
two,
no!
obviously, if he dies, he comes back to life. But
He
not
also
only
he
that,
also
but
kills things on the way out.
yeah, he strikes on the way out, and you'll get a bonus victory point if he kills you.
Oh my
Yeah,
god! Oh
yeah,
no!
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I'm guessing Bob's bringing that list. He's been itching to bring it out.
I mean,
He and I played a practice game.
I mean, in theory, the Tormund Spearwife list also has Magnum Mighty. With also, this is also quite scary. This list.
Yeah, the Tormund list with Mag. Yeah, counter assault with Mag seems pretty disgusting.
Yeah, and I don't think a Spleen would risk bringing the Stone Thrower out just simply because if you bring the Stone Thrower out and he brings Mag, then suddenly like you have two
Yeah.
units doing nothing. Well, he can kill the Raiders, but that's about it.
Yeah, he'll smoosh the Raiders, and then from there you've got 16 points that can't do anything.
All right, what else? What else interesting list we got? Yep. The one we got a few people dropping out. I think in total three people dropped out. So unfortunately, you get the what you call it. You get paired up against Mikael. All right, what else is interesting? We got Bob. We got Dark Angel versus the Friendly Fat Octopus. Freefall versus Greyjoy. Uh, Stovetop will be up against Targaryen in the Targaryen mirror. So good luck with that. And we got a few. Kai will be up against Carl. Night Watch versus Neutral. And Claw will be up against Targaryen. And going down a bit. And you'll be up against Joffrey from my boys.
Hmm.
I see. And Tom will be up against Baratheon. And going down a bit. Yep. All right. Cool. Any other matchup you like to comment?
Well, I think we covered some of the really interesting, but don't sleep on some of the stuff there. Excuse me.
Uh huh. I
Look
won't be
at
sleeping on
Jesse
my own
L.
matchup.
Commander bands make no sense with Elo is Jesse. Sorry, Jesse. It was yeah, it was a decision that we're gonna live and die by, right?
It's okay. We get flack from the stats guys. It's okay.
So you yeah, it'll be fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay. I think that's all from the sort of like what we can talk about within round one and round two. Again, good luck in your match. I think this should be a fairly okay match. Lannister versus Baratheon, in theory, should be a rather difficult matchup for the Baratheon players. Again, as for me, I will see whether my my unfortunate tropical disease will hinder my decision making, or I might have to just drop this round. freaking tropical disease.
No, man.
Yeah. I was telling Brett. These are the things that you never hear in like U.S. because you don't get mosquitoes and all these other tropical diseases. So yeah, unfortunately, got down with one of them. I'm fine. Currently taking antibiotics, but we'll see. If I'm still not feeling well in like the next couple of days, I'll just message Sir Jacob and says like, I'll just drop, because otherwise but we'll see.
That would be really, really unfortunate. I'd like to see you play this round.
Yep, we'll see. I mean, we do have a week. Anyway, for those watching, we have a week to play. So between now until 9 p.m. on a Sunday night, 9 p.m. Sunday, you have time for your games. If you can't find your opponent, or if you have difficulty in arranging schedule with your opponent, just let me know and I'll help them out for you. And other than that, good luck in your next round. And for Brett, thank you for joining us. Have fun on your Monday. And
Oh yeah.
I just finished my Monday, so best of luck to you. Hope you have a good week.
Yeah, it should be tons of fun. I get to play my absolute favorite Baratheons who, for whatever reason, no matter what in a tournament, they always have my number.
Oh no! All right, all
It'll
right,
be
Brett. Thanks for joining. I'll see you next time. For those watching,
all right.
I'll see you guys in the next rounds of pairings. If you guys want to have your match streamed out, or you got some, yeah, if you guys want to have your match streamed out, just let me know, and I'll happily stream them for you if I'm not feeling too dead. All right, see you guys.
Yep.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.